Yeah, I found it.
Oh, she talking to us.
Yes. All right. So I thought I'd start with a deck, a gunny sack. Now, the deck is a really good place to sort of get a handle on what these gunny sacks are all about. As you can see, and I'll kind of scroll down through here. Up at the top, I've got overview of deck conditions. That's what pulls up that gunny sack. Now, I don't use everything to do with the deck is in all these areas down here. This is just all the documentation about the deck, what kind of structure it was. Maybe it was concrete. So, that's typical of any report writing software. You have that somewhere, but I don't have any defects in here. If there's anything wrong with the ledger bolting, for example, that will be in the gunny sack. So I got structures, I got foundation, the deck surface drainage, barriers, guards, top cap, got stairs down here. So all of this stuff is just informational stuff about the deck. And if you got two, you could copy it. I got people that wants in the door. Where'd that go to? Hang in there. I got two people that want in.
Here's a question while you're getting them in.
Yeah, there. I'm okay.
I see a lot of the auto comments say I. I'm transferring over from HG.
Yeah,
a lot of you guys have used I as it. I've always used the inspector or it is recommended.
Yeah, you're going to have to wrestle with all those differences. Here I always use I want to be connected to it. Now, multi-inspector firms some of them use we, or some of them use just inspector.
The inspector, yeah.
Yeah, and I want to personalize it for me, but others don't want to do that. So
I've always found the inspector recommended. That just reads very.
It
doesn't flow.
It just whatever fits your business model. You'll have to figure that out. But yeah. All right, so let's go up here.
I was just curious on that as you were bringing people.
Yeah. So we'll open up conditions. This is where we get into anything that might be wrong with the deck. So this reads, these are word changes. So maybe it's a porch and not a deck, or it's a balcony or whatever. We'll leave it as a deck. And it had how many issues? It had numerous issues, or some, a few, or considerable. And obviously you can edit this and change it. Another thing that the gunny sack accomplishes, it gets rid of that. Let's say you got 25 narratives in your summary, and every single one of them says, I recommend repairs, evaluation, blah, 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 by XYZ, right? So this gets that down to just doing that once. So this here, it says evaluation, repairs, replacement. So that can be changed to, maybe it's just replacement. You change that, and that will change what it says here. Recommend replacement by a qualified deck construction contractor. Well, maybe you want to change that to something else, like I have it, so that because maybe there's going to be a siding contractor that's involved with it, so you can add that to that. Or maybe there's electrical and siding issues, so you change that to include all of that in here. So that's and it has this also these sub qualifiers where you can select from all these other modifiers to as appropriate for that particular narrative. There probably wouldn't be efficiency ever. I try to predict. So I built this based on experience and what typically would be with a deck, gunny sack. but maybe you don't need upgrade in here, so you come in here and take upgrade off. So that way you can fine tune this, but while it looks cumbersome, you're only doing it once, you know, whereas you might have, you could easily have 25 narratives about a deck, yeah? Not hard at all. So this, you're just doing it one time. So then we could start going down through these. Deck is totally unsafe. Maybe you'd use that, and that would really short circuit your whole reporting of the deck. Let's say there were issues with, say it's not safe for use. There were issues with the structure, the walking surface, guards, stairs, etc. And that builds all of this in here. Now notice how all of this is tiny text. If I go in here, we go into edit, you'll see I put all this text small so that it's easier to extract the ones I want out of here. If you left all of this large text, then you kind of have to read it all. Whereas you don't need to read this to find to choose that particular item. Does that make sense? So that we've built that. Now, let's say there are no stairs, so we'll just skip that. If you don't check anything in here, it just doesn't show. I want to like pick a few things, and then I'll drag what a preview report looks like with the Gunnysack. Floor structure, let's see. Construction is missing solid blocking above the beams, lateral bracing. There wasn't any untreated wood components attached to treated wood components, fasteners, carriage bolts instead of bolts and washers, improper metal brackets. We can stick with that. If you're doing wood destroying organisms, you might say there's decay and rot, maybe some carpenter ants. So that gives us a little bit of a blurb there about the structure. And then you get into all the different components of that structure. Ledgers, let's see what's ledgers attached on the top of siding. We never see that, right? About attached to overhanging structures, improperly attached to overhanging building floor system. Maybe it does, but it was typical of the time of construction, so you could choose that one. Ledger conditions, let's see. Yeah, flashing missing. Not bolted to current standards. I'm just going to, make up a deck problem here. Joists, document whatever's wrong with the joists. Yeah, so let's say engineered joists. Well, they shouldn't even be outdoors anyway, right?
Well, they do have some engineered for outside, but pretty rare that anybody uses them.
Yeah. See, surface conditions, landings at doorways, so we could have that, and not minimum 36-inch times the width of the door as a primary entrance. So now we're sort of seeing this deck as at the primary entrance. I play, this is all, if it's purple in here, this is just the code for my own benefit. Different, you can add these things, and if it's purple, it reminds me I'm never going to click that because I don't want it in the report. Let's say the deck surface is a painted surface, or maybe let's go with applied surface coating. conditions, weathering deterioration, substrate spongy. Yeah, so let's close out of that. I don't know. Guards, anything wrong with the guards? Guard not adequate. Just click on that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's enough to give you a sense of what we do here, and then we could go over here. This is I don't know if we can find any deck pictures to use here or not. This is kind of a mishmash of pictures, but
Yeah, I just don't use the library at all.
I don't use it this way either. But I want to stick some pictures in here just for
Right. Just for looks.
just for giggles.
Grab that engineered truss
Here we go.
thing right. There you
We
go.
could drag this in here. Yeah. All right, that'll work. Just one picture is fine for now. Maybe there was some hanger issues too. All right, so now I'll do a quick preview of this, and we'll that'll come up on my other screen. I'll drag it over here so you can see how this feels and looks. And remember, all these yellow sections aren't going to print. They're not going to show up at all. Let's see. We'll go to the summary first. So there it is in the summary. And what I do is I have this big bold text here, and that helps separate it from the next thing in the list. Until we actually have a separator. There's a project for you, Ben.
We'll get on it.
Yeah, but so that's how it looks. Now see how all the text came back normal size. That is currently a glitch, and I told Steve to not fix it. So I think it's really important to have that, make that text disappear in the back end, but have it become normal size in the printed report. So that's pretty much how the Gunnysacks work. You can see that everything to do with that deck now is in one little place. It's sort of a National Geographic approach to report writing, where you don't have 20 different narratives. I have 4,000 narratives, and I have pushed them all into 200 Gunnysacks. So I have
can you build a tiny one from scratch to show where does that data get propagated from? Like where?
You build it in.
You have to build it in. You're copying and pasting it from narratives you might already have.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So how do you link I guess what you would call a Gunnysack narrative over to a individual narrative that you've already got saved in the library?
Yeah, let's see. That I don't have them anymore. They're all gone. My library is very small compared to what it was. It used to have, like I said, 4,000 individual narratives, and every single one of those narratives had these sub-qualifiers. They had the direction as to who's to fix it and when and why. All of that was in every single narrative. Now, all the narratives are here, but there's only the one call to action for it. Let's drag this out of here. So if we go into we'll
So you-
edit. Go into edit here, edit in the, well, actually, you just build it right here.
Yeah,
You don't
well,
have to.
Charlie,
go- Yeah,
just for the, because I think these guys would like to see this, is just go and add a comment and build one like you're going to build one from scratch.
all right.
All
All right,
and
what
then-
do you, give me a
you-
title. You just-
we're gonna say let's just do deck stairs. I know you got it already
Yeah,
built
yeah.
there, but let's just say you want to build one for just stairs alone, and
All
so
right, so there's our heading. And now you have to go into,
no, I mean start a new comment completely.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
don't
like,
don't
delete
mess
that
with
off the
this one.
screen.
Yeah.
don't mess with,
Don't mess with that one. So add observation, right? And then show them how you're going to build this kind of get going from the get go.
yeah. All right, so it's prompting for all kinds of stuff. It wants my gunny sack to put in there.
Right,
but
so this is where if you have, previous comments, you can grab this and, and maybe start with one comment and then start breaking it out.
Yeah, but so you've got, and let's hit, I'm going to put that down there. And let's say I want to write in the quick, the quick red fox went up the stairs. Something like that, right? We're just making stuff up. But then you see in that process, you got to add all these modifiers in there. So the way you do that is you open it up and you edit and you can grab that list.
Oh, I'm sorry, Charlie. What did you just click to open that?
Let me back up. Cancel. To open up, so I just highlighted this.
So he has this already pre-built.
This is already pre-built
I guess that's my question. Where does that get built?
right here. See that? And I'm going to show you. Just hang on a second. And if I don't
Okay.
clarify that, let me know. Copy, cancel. So now I want it down here. So I just open this up and I just paste it in there. And I want to allow multiple selections. And I use the sentence because that will put them lineal.
That's how you were doing that. Okay, gotcha.
So you don't have anything there yet because you haven't selected anything. So now you can click safety and maintenance, monitor annually, WDOs, due diligence. So there's my qualifiers, just like I have up here. And now we've got one thing here. So let's, we want to make that well, I tell you what, one of the things we could do is I could go and grab my stairs from here and hit edit. And this is like, you've got this somewhere. You're going to have this information somewhere, either in your old template or in a Word doc or something, but you just find it, copy it, and now we'll put it in stairs down here. So I hit this little guy here, see deck stairs, hit enter. I don't know what driver support wants. But there we have it in here. And now you have to take this and copy and paste that. And I'm going to get rid of that. And we want a multiple selections, and we'll choose bullets for this. And we want to put that title back in here. Now I want it bold. You can make it huge if you want, whatever you want. You can change the color of it to blue or any color that's available, and hit save. And now I have my deck stairs and it's linked the first item on the list will always show up. So you have to come in and unclick that. Hit close, and now you have a Gunnysack, your first item in your Gunnysack, all done.
And then you need to save to make sure you save.
Yeah, well, right now it isn't linked to anything.
Right. But
see, and I can show you how to do that. Like you see, it's under structure conditions. So if I put go down here, hit edit in library, structure. And it works like you need the first word, and then you need a space dash space and conditions. That will link it to that orange word conditions. So we're going to add as a new library entry. Now watch what happens. Because it's linked to the same one, if I were to close out of here, I'm going to close this, and I don't want to save it the way it is, so I'm just going to delete it. And I will delete this one as well. And when I click on this, it will bring up both of those. At least it better. There's the first one and there's the second one. See how that is blue? Structure conditions. So it brought up both of them. If you wanted to just bring it up as something else, you control what pulls it up with these blue label. Yeah.
So basically, you kind of create like a section there, right? And then you have a little subsection that you can create these little titles for. Say if you wanted to, on structures, if he just wanted to say Dexter's, go up there and show it real quick on how you add it in that line really fast.
So the alternative text is the same functionality in the software that you would use to just have a multiple choice situation for a normal comment.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So watch what we'll do here. We'll go in here. I will edit in the library. And I'm going to change this to just condition, take the S off. Update existing library. So now if I were to close both of them, it wouldn't open both of them. I need to create another line to do that. So edit section, hit structure. Was it S or can't remember. So condition with no S, right?
Right.
2 I's. And honestly, when I'm doing this, I do a lot of copy and paste because it's amazing. You got one space wrong or one letter wrong, it won't work. So display as checkboxes, and I want it to be a inspector only notes because I don't want it to show in the report. Structure. Oh, it's see the S. It doesn't want the S there. Yeah. Now it should change orange now. See how it's orange? So we can put that up here. And there's my new comment, my new line that will pull up that new comment. So we'll close out of this. Close out of this, and we pull that up with that. See how that works? It's I mean, obviously it takes some time to build these. That's why I'm encouraging you guys to use a template that already exists. So you have to minimally do this kind of work. This is what you pay the big bucks for when you buy my template or you buy Donnie's template or Not Dylan's comes with it, but Mike Paris's or that sort of
Charles,
thing.
there's some people in the waiting room. You be able
Oh,
to
are
let them
there?
in. Irby's
Oh,
trying to get on.
Oh,
maybe-
okay, good.
You don't have
Thanks.
to let him in. It's okay.
Good. Yeah.
And by the way, how much is your template?
My template's 800 plus a bit for Scribeware. I think it's
Thank you.
it's close to 900. I think Kalen and Mike are more in the 500 range. So I can show you when you're getting a sense of what you would get with mine, but if you go up to library and click on 3 dots, open up edit category list, you'll see that I have all my Gunnysacks are in these that have the little Gunnysack. So everything you see down here, all these entries down here, these are all blue as opposed to orange. If I were to go in here and open this up, you can see over on the right, everything will be a blue link. In other words, it's a descriptor. It's some CYA information or whatever like that. Whereas in the Gunnysacks, let's go back in here. If I pick the 8 categories in bathroom, there's 8 Gunnysacks for every bathroom. I've got a Gunnysack for the bathtub, a Gunnysack for bidets, urinals, exhaust fans, showers, toilets, countertops, sinks, and walls, floors, and ceilings. And I use this same Gunnysack for all rooms other than kitchens. And I can change what the room is by just changing the header. Does that make sense? Because sometimes you can use the same Gunnysack. Some rooms are different enough that I don't, but that's how that works.
Charles, how do you hide your gunny sacks if you're not gonna be using them? Like, I don't see bidets often. Like,
Yeah, you just ignore it. Let's go to the bathroom.
Or can you move them down to the bottom easily? I'm still new. I'm sorry if this is not the right time.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I'll go to the bathroom section. And we got, see, I've got bathtub, shower, toilet. Bidet is right under that. If it's no bidet in the house, you just ignore it. You don't have to do anything. It won't show. If there's no urinal, you just don't do anything. You can click this and it'll turn it green if you want to, just as a.
Can you have it automatically green? Like, I normally never see this, so it's gonna always be green unless something there.
I don't think so. I think as soon as you copy your template, those are not gonna stay green.
I guess I'm just used to home gauge. I could have like something like that excluded, and in case I needed it, I could unexclude it and then use it.
Let's try it here.
All right, thank you.
I don't know if I can do this or not. We could take odds.
Your inspection report for 900 versus 7.
Yeah. I hope I can do this. I'm trying to think. I'm going to have to save it as a template. So let's see. Well, might as well do it in bathrooms. That's what we're talking about. let's see. So let's say there's no, very unusual to have these. I mean, it's pretty easy to just ignore them, but let's try it. So
Charles,
yeah,
John here. Uh, I believe that if your template is green, the next report you write from that template is also green. That was where I was asking them to do the reverse. A new report from a template, I wanted to have a button that could clear them all so that it reminds me to think about each and every step. Whereas currently, if it's green in the template, it's green in
yeah,
the,
now I remember. So yeah,
yeah.
I
I'm
don't
kind
even,
of, I wanted to go the other way.
that's right. So that should answer your question, Ed. There's no,
Thank you.
it will
Thank you,
stay,
John.
it will stay green. So yeah, you can use it that way. I don't know. Did we figure out a way to clear them all, John?
No, at the current, it has to be one at a time, and that's okay. You know, it helps to have my brain attached when
Yeah.
I'm working with this stuff.
Well, you can clear it you can clear it globally this way. Let's say you make them all green with this. Now see how this whole chapter is all green.
Yeah.
So if you had, let's say,
But I think the way the question was asked is a few individual oddball ones like a bidet.
Yeah, I guess in the end, I'll just have to have like special bathrooms, a different section like saunas, jacuzzis, and like random things that typically I do not see in New York City, and just leave them as like a special subsection of bathrooms, I guess, if that makes any sense.
yeah,
Sorry, guys, I missed that. Are you saying that if you do the green check to, basically to ignore an item, when you start a new report, those checks are still in place on a new
Yeah.
report?
only if you save them that way in your template. No,
If you
I mean, you
you
shouldn't be
mark
using,
them, yeah, mark them green in the template, save the template. The next report you create from that template will be green.
that's right.
And I think I know the answer to this, but your library and your template are two different things.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning, well, with like home gauge, you had to click the save template button in order to save a comment. You don't have to do that with Scribeware.
No.
And do you have save template as like today's date versus tomorrow's date, or is it only one template? Like, can I name it
Change the
save?
name of the template, it'll create a new one.
That's right. But you really, and if you go look at my page, these are my two templates, consulting template and a residential template. I don't even have a house on them because I don't want to ever confuse them as a report. So I only make changes in my template. So if I want a new report, I just click on this and it creates a new report based on this template. So now any changes I make while I'm working on that report aren't going to change anything in the template. Does that make sense?
Thank you. I guess it's just the
Unless
new
you say
thinking from
template.
Homegage.
What's that? Yeah, I mean, I can save this if I say save as template. Boy, then you're going to have to rename it, right?
But the other thing you should show them when you got your template, go back to your main screen there, go home. I was going to point out he's got the date of those out to 2026, so they always stay up top.
Yeah.
So you put a future date on that your template.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like I'm in I think in 2030 I think I used. So it's like
so here's that copy I just made here. Now, if you want this to be your new template, you just name it as a new template.
I'm sorry, you lost me there for a second. What is the purpose of post dating the
just so that Because it will work its way to the bottom based on whatever date it
Yeah, I know,
is.
but what are those reports or are those templates?
These
Those
are
are template.
templates, but that's one
But
of the
they're
hard things to get your head around with Scribeware. There's no difference between a template and a
in a
report.
report.
Your
You're just
last
using it.
your
So it's
last
just making a
report.
copy of your template and turning it into a report.
That's right.
Correct.
Now,
Okay.
like this is exactly like this, but this one is not like that, and this one's not like that.
That's why you said you didn't put a house on the picture, because you didn't want to confuse it. Okay. Okay. I
yeah,
understand.
yeah. So you could open this back up, and we can stick a different picture in here for our cover pictures. Sometimes these don't stay from here. I don't know why they do that, but so now I'll let finish thinking here. So now if I go back to home, there should be a picture here. Why isn't there a picture there?
Did you save?
Yeah,
Oh, there it is.
It
Yeah.
just, it takes
It took a
little time.
second. Yeah.
So now if you wanted to, if you decided you don't want this to be 220.33.0A, you want it to be your doghouse template or whatever, you can rename it that, and you just put a date way out in the future and drag it. It'll maybe give it the same date. I give these the same date so they'd be on the same line. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
If you want to get rid of these, you just you can hit delete, right click, delete. And this takes a while for it to figure out what the heck you're doing. There it goes. So let's go back into my template and we'll look at that. Does that answer your question, Ed? Frankly, I have.
No, you gave a better idea. I'm still figuring the difference between the two and comprehending on how my
Yes.
brain has to rethink.
So
the way I look at
template,
it.
the template is just a report, right?
It
And
really
then
is.
you're just going to copy that report and make your new report. And so, I mean, it's
But-
really the same
No,
thing.
I understand, like, to predate it way in advance, that it's always on top, and that's
Yeah.
where you're pulling from.
But
I
look
was
at
just so
all,
used to save template as, and
Yeah.
but
right.
look at
I might
all.
have to save template as, and I just changed it for the 6-family house that I'm doing,
Right.
and I'm used to doing that versus a single family. And I,
Well,
So-
being I
so-
did it,
So the difference between like HomeGauge and how Scribeware works is that your comments are actually in the library tabling system, right? And that's where your chapters and stuff are. And that's where you're saving. When you save your comments, you'll save it to those chapters. And then based on your report template, when you get into those subsections, you're going to have to go in and select what chapters you want that say deck section. You want to have that pointing to the comment categories in your library. So that's how, so you don't have everything available.
no, I see that
You-
part, Don, and
yeah,
I can see
okay.
the benefit of these Gunnysacks.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
No,
see
this
the
is in
difference and make
reference
sure
to
that I'm
Gunnysacks.
understanding 100%.
Yeah,
Thank
now notice like in any given house, you might not have any water features. Well, you just ignore it. I don't have to get rid of it. I know it takes a little bit getting used to. Coming from Excel, where I did a process of deleting everything I didn't want. The problem with that is, what if you pre-do some of this? If you could get rid of this and you got to the job and found out, oh God, it's got a water feature. Well, maybe there's a way it could be hidden, but you wouldn't want to delete it. I mean, clearly I can go in here.
That's pretty much what I was asking, Charles, to hide
Yeah.
it. Because I have
Yeah.
different sections that are hidden because most houses don't have that.
Right.
But every once in a while, it's, oh, wow, you're here. Okay, I'm good. And I can just go into it, but it's not in my forefront of what I'm looking at.
Like, here's an example. I can show you. It takes some kahunas to do this, but I'll show
I'll
you.
tell you what,
Watch what happens if I delete this chapter and I say yes. now it's gone from here. But, oh, maybe I want it back. You can always go back in here and find where it is.
Oh, you did it.
Did I screw up?
No, you.
See
It's
it
there.
right here.
Right.
So do a restore and it will come back. So you always have this back door to go and repair things that you accidentally delete, and see how it's back here now. But
Thank you for being ballsy. I would not have done that. Thank you.
yeah, I've monkeyed with this a lot, and Steve created that thing just because I screwed up so often.
It's the Charlie default.
You really don't want to rely on this though, because every time you like, let's say I don't want to do it right now, but let's say I hit save template, then they're gone. So yeah, it works as long as you don't update that way,
Right.
or and whatnot.
Or when in doubt, do it as save as and create a new template so you can that you haven't blown something up.
Yeah. So is that helpful to get a handle? I can show you another Gunnysack.
No, that's helpful.
Another common one is exterior doors, the Gunnysack for that. You can see I've got all this basic stuff that tells you, what the door is made out of, whether it's a slider or in swing, a double door, et cetera, et cetera. So that's all just documenting stuff. But if you open up the Gunnysack for it, you'll see it's not anywhere near as big as the Gunnysack
For the deck.
for decks. Decks is probably one of my biggest ones.
Yeah, I haven't even tried to tackle that one yet.
But it's still a lot of stuff. I mean, if it's a slider, all the slider issues are going to be in here. It's not too much. I try to keep these minimal. Some of them are longer than I like, but it's that. If it's a door conditions, I got some stuff. If it's a condo or a townhouse, some heads up stuff about that. So hinges, what's wrong with the hinges? Just you can document what's wrong with the hinges. And while this isn't stuff that you would, I mean, if you had to have you don't have to have an actual narrative about this, because you're just listing the stuff that's wrong, and the guy that's going to come and fix it for the things you have narratives for are going to take care of this small stuff too. So it really reduces the sheer number of narratives you normally would have.
And with these Gunnysacks too, you can sort of, say you don't have all the stuff Charlie has here right off the bat. You can start and make your categories and then start adding information as you run into it and then save it before you really build out your comment, and then you'll be kind of updating your comment.
Yeah, like
over time.
These lists, I've been building these lists for 17 years. It's not like you have to sit down. You try to sit down and try to think about all these. You'll be amazed at what you don't.
Hey, Charlie, I do have one question for you, because so you got your list here in a certain order. Can you rearrange the order of these lists?
Nope.
I know, that's okay. That's a problem.
One thing and it's really hard to even add. Well, it isn't hard anymore now that I know how to do it. Let's say you want something between door and conditions. It's not that difficult, Donnie, really. So let's say I want to move auto closure up above barrier railing. The way you would do that is you have to hit Shift Enter. That will create a space.
Okay.
That's the only way you can do that. So then you can take auto closure and copy it up in here, but it won't carry all the stuff that's in
Right.
here. So then you go in here.
Yeah, yeah,
and
I
you
figured out how,
essentially
I know, yeah, I know how
rebuild
to
it
do
that
that.
way.
Yeah, I figured that part out, but it's like, it'd be nice if you could copy that line, it would copy all the background,
Yeah,
you know,
and that's why we can't sell these things yet, because they aren't copyable.
right. Because it'd be nice to, if you could do that, then you could reorder it as you go. Say, I
Yeah,
actually want
like
this
I'd
one.
like to be able to just take this, hit copy, and send it to Donnie or send it, you
Right.
know. But the list will go, but there won't be anything
It won't have anything
linked.
behind it. Yeah.
That's right.
And is is Steve working on maybe
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
this? Yeah,
yeah,
we're working on that. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Because that'll be a huge.
But believe me, it took me a long time to figure out, and Steve finally clued me in on how to do that.
Right.
Like,
So
to create
shift enter,
spaces.
is that what you said?
Yeah, shift enter
Yeah.
will allow you to create spaces between them. Otherwise, they recopy. Like what happens if I just put the cursor here and hit enter?
Right.
See it? It just doesn't work.
Yeah. So gotcha. That's
Adding shift to those commands is a page break. It's just like the HTML, you know, the open bracket BR close bracket. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if is there some kind of symbol you could put in there, or I think the shift works all right. But the other thing that I do is like you notice I have all these icons in there. I love playing with icons. You can, if you don't know how to do that, let's say under door conditions, I want to put a stop sign there. I just hit the Windows key and period. And this box will jump up, and the ones that I use the most will be here, and I can just put a stop sign there.
Is there a way that we can import our own icons?
You can only use these are
yes.
These are icons that work across all platforms. You can run into issues with them not working on certain devices if you don't use a recognized list. Now there are other recognized.
Yeah, there I have, what is it? I found a place where you can go grab stuff. It's, let me find it.
Yeah, emoji.com is one.
Yeah, I think that's it.
But you do have to be careful. You can't just take a picture and stick it in there. It's got to be a recognized.
It's emoji.
I don't know who controls all those. I want a window emoji, but there is no window.
So there's another one called emojicopy.com.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably SVG files. I'll look
Yeah.
into this.
So I don't know about some of you guys that when you're starting to do this too, if one trick, I have multiple computers up when I'm working, and I'll use a Google document, and I'll type in stuff that I want in there that I want to put into my template, and I can actually work on have my template. And if I want to just do something like, right, okay, I want to make sure I get this in now, I can actually do, if I type it in Google Documents and I have Google Doc open on my other computer, it'll show up there too.
Mm-hmm.
And you can work basically having two templates. You can
that is a workaround for you guys that are looking to copy from your template, your existing home gauge template, into Scribeware. You have to have a workaround like that. You can't have two right now. You can't have two both open at the same time on the same computer.
Right.
So makes it hard. But so anybody got any questions about the Gunnysacks? I mean, that is sort
of comment building in general.
Comment building. Yeah, I mean, as far as traditionally, you'd use this box when you've got you want to write a comment, and then you have to go up here and you'd save it to the library, add to the library.
Unfortunately, you've clicked. Here's something you may want to show these guys, especially when as you're building your new, if you got comments already populated in the template. If you go to library, Charlie, go to library and do a search by a chapter. So search, put in like a aluminum wiring or whatever you want to pull something there.
For me, it's going to come up. See what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll find anything because
Yeah.
mine are all buried in Gunnysacks.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
So
Yeah.
so if you go on there, it says include and report. So if you hit that little slider, it's on the left there, and then it'll ask you what section of your report you want to put it in.
Yeah.
And you can add these comments in bulk, because like me, I'm trying to clean up my comment library. So if I can go out there and find, like, I may have like 5 comments that are kind of close to the same thing because I have all these duplicates. I could put them all in my section, then kind of make one comment, and then remove the rest of them out of my library. And then you can kind of slowly wean your library of all the garbage.
Yeah, for me, it's
if you're like me.
for me, I like having everything built out and linked, and just then I don't have to go. So I don't ever go in here and look for aluminum anymore.
I know, but if you've had more time to just think with your template, and
exactly.
and I'm doing it sort of on the fly as I'm working on reports, and I go, oh, I need to get rid of some of this crap, and so it's been one way to kind of, you can bring a bunch of comments in.
Well, if I
kind of massage them into one comment, and then get rid of the other ones, and then you can start deleting stuff you don't want to have in there and build new comments.
I just added that to the library. Now, if I go up to library and just put a bunch of V's in there, that comment should come up. It doesn't like a whole lot of text. It has to have at least 4 characters. And this may or may not work. We'll see.
Yeah, usually.
But see how long it takes.
But you can make it better by, if you know what chapter it's in, you can actually select that chapter and it'll search within
there
that
it is
chapter.
here.
Yeah.
So it did find it. But now I can. Yeah. It's interesting. It came up multiple places.
You've done it several times.
I guess I've used that demo before. Huh?
But kind of go back and do that again. We'll just show you real quick. We're in repair. We're at what chapter is? Okay, you call it.
What chapter is this in?
Yeah, no, yeah. So go ahead, go back to the library again, just real quick. I want to, because I think this will be helpful to a lot of the guys that are coming over from HomeGage if they've imported their library. So go to your library section, Charlie.
I am.
Nope, I froze up. Sorry about that. I froze. Go to library. Do the same thing again. Your V's. You probably only need to put 4 V's in. And do now. Go in and do the include in current report. Yeah, click all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and then you want this is where you'll
see. I don't want that one's trying to go to plumbing.
Yeah.
This one building exteriors. So this is the only one I really would.
Yeah, I know. But if you have those in the chapters, you'll be able to send those to that. The actual area you're working in. So, and then it'll drop it into that comment field.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of have all 3 of those. What I got, hopefully Steve will do this. What I want to have done is, like, when you're in here and you do add kind of the same thing, and you'll be able to several comments and then bring them all in at once.
Well, you can also go in here, edit in library and
Change
up
that.
here, change the
Yeah.
library it goes to.
Correct.
So that is easier for me because I don't have so many library headings.
Yeah.
But there's multiple ways to skin this cat in terms of how to do things. I personally like having anything that's going to end up in the report linked to something orange or something blue. If I have a narrative in the report, well, and I want it about how secure are your doors. This is a little blurb I have about no door is ultimately secure. It has limits. Scribeware just crashed. Yeah, this is a resource issue. If you get this white screen of death like this, you just have to close Scribeware and reopen it. But it's a good demo because everything that we've been working on will be exactly the way it was when we left. Because Scribeware saves every 10 seconds. So if you really get in a bind, Steve can usually retrieve stuff.
Hey, Charlie, quick question for you.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at an individual item in the template and it's orange with a white hash or a dash, how do I get that off?
Orange.
If you click it, it turns green. If you click it back, it turns orange. And there's zero data. There's no input fields filled in. Oh, wait. Yes, there is. Hang on.
Yeah, there's usually something clicked on or something.
Yeah,
somewhere.
that's it. Okay, never mind.
Yep.
I can show you one. Yeah, that's interesting. So this is still opening.
I got to go back and clear all this crap out. I didn't realize I was saving templates as I was doing this.
Yeah. All right. So it's still loading because this isn't orange. Sometimes when you first open, it takes a minute for these to go back orange. I want to show you what happens if I decide that I want to have this have an S on it, or let's put another letter on it. So let's go up in here, edit section, and we'll change this to conditioned and hit save. Now it won't be orange anymore. And I'm going to close this. Notice how it's got condition in here. You can get rid of it. But notice that this, I'm going to close out of this. Notice, oh, that must have fixed that issue. There used to be an issue where this thing stayed hidden in the background, and you could tell because the orange wouldn't go away off of the item, even though you didn't have anything checked. But they just added this box, the ability to add additional things in checkbox function, which is awesome. Because oftentimes you create checkboxes and you want another item in here. Well, without this line, you couldn't do that other than going up into the section and make it green in the back end. So this is only about a week old, this ability to use these checkboxes. And I'm not even sure if, have you got that yet, Donnie?
Let me go look.
See, I'm in alpha up here,
Yeah.
so I have to be careful what sometimes.
I just downloaded the update about 15 minutes ago, and I now have the favorites where I did not before.
Yeah, I do have that extra.
But do you have this space after checkboxes?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
good. Well, that's it. That was a huge improvement that I've been bugging Steve for.
See, I don't, I use a lot of and some of the stuff where you have your descriptors instead of having checkboxes like that. I have just drop down menus.
I know, and I do too. I have lots of drop
And so
downs,
it'd be nice to be able to do the same basic thing in the drop down menu too.
well, you can always add something in the drop down. Like if I pick, like, see, this is a big drop down.
Right.
If I pick,
I know, but I wanted to save it, to save in the drop down. I can add stuff, but it won't be saved there.
well, yeah, no, it does. I mean, you could hit save template, but then you don't want to do that.
No,
Make,
no.
make
You know what
changes
was-
to your template.
You know what I mean? So you could edit on the fly that drop down
Yeah,
menu.
I don't see that happening tomorrow.
No.
And clear section button would be nice too.
You mean if you did a whole bunch of stuff in here and you didn't want it in there?
Yeah, you just click the 3 dots and it's just, you know, edit, copy, add blank, delete, or just clear, and then boom, it would just evaporate the data.
Yeah, here's one useful thing that you might find helpful. Like you create a long list of stuff you've picked on and you want to get rid of that. You put the cursor right after the first choice and hit the backspace and they just all go away.
Okay. I actually didn't know that. After the first one, you do it?
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah.
Easiest.
And I've been going in and just
I
individually
know.
deleting them.
I
Okay.
know if you otherwise you're finding it, finding
Gotcha.
the X whatever the hell it is,
And then backspacing it.
and find the next one, find the X.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's way easier to just put that cursor there and hit the backspace.
Oh, frigadig.
I taught you one thing. That was one useful thing in this
You
whole
know,
time.
you actually taught me 2 useful things so far. Well, you know, it's funny. It's like any of these softwares, there's all these little things, you know, tips and tricks, you know.
Yeah, there are.
You need to start documenting them, Charlie, so you can have for the Scribeware owner's manual
Yeah, really.
that you're going to be writing, right?
Yeah, right. All right, so you can do Gunnysacks also in these. Like I'll show you down here. We'll go into limitations, exclusions. If I click on that, I have a Gunnysack within here that I can pick different things that were the limitations related to that section. So maybe there was furniture and storage, screens limiting inspection of windows, blinds can limit inspection. Some windows are painted shut, blah, 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 whatever. But each section, I have tuned this to be the things commonly found in that section. Some of them lists are 30 items long, but others are 3 or 4 items. So it depends on the section. So, and that's just kind of, I have a limitations and exclusions related to exterior doors. And that's how that works. What else can I talk about?
Any other questions that people have?
Yeah.
Can you add Gunnysacks to one of your comments after it's already a comment?
Yeah, you may take a comment you got pre-existing and start turning it into a Gunnysack. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like the main plumbing waste vent was located on the driveway side. Now you're gonna change that into later okay, is the front, the back, the left, the right.
I'll show you how to do that. So here's a little description about with thermal break, no thermal break, not determined. This is let's say you want to change anything in here to what do you got? I don't know.
Just go in and add a line and say, you know, maybe use a directional thing, kind of.
North.
Yeah.
North
Side.
you want to change this to a list and put in, oops, south. And I have several of these, and I would have northeast, southeast, but I will just do north, south, west, east, and hit. And I don't want to. In this kind of a list, you're never going to pick more than one, right? So you don't need to allow multiple selections. So you just hit save, and now you can pick pick a different one, and it will uncheck the other one.
And you can make those sentences too. You can have little short sentences too. So
Yeah. You know, if you,
Thank you.
that's where you would get into edit, and you would click on allow
gotta-
multiple. Then you could use or then, or etc. Sentences, bullets.
I got a quick question to the gallery here. Who here also does commercial inspections? Or are you strictly residential?
Me.
Yeah.
I do half a dozen a year.
Yeah. So something during comment writing is starting to kind of generalize stuff. You know, this you know, it's like maybe using building versus home, or you know, something that could be used in multiple
A little more
contexts.
generic.
Yeah. Because I found, you know, or what I've been doing is having little like selectors like that, what Charlie just did. So you can select build, home, or building, or structure. You know, you can have 3 different, you know, variables of that same thing. So you can use a lot of times I can use the same comment over multiple types of, you know, inspections.
Like here's one here. Typically, this would be a drop down that would say building. And because they're highlighted yellow, if you're doing a commercial inspection, it's way easier to make those changes in your residential template than it is to have a whole separate template that you're trying to maintain. Because what happens is you're working along, you've done 30, 40, 50, 60 residential inspections, updated your template for every single one of them. And now all of a sudden you go back to your commercial template, and none of those updates are there. None of those
Yeah, so what I'm doing, kind of like what Charlie's saying, I just, you know, was putting this out for food for thought for those who are doing commercial inspections, that you want to build your template, your residential template, maybe have sections in there for commercial stuff that you're doing, and you can use, because you're using a lot of the same type of commentary, and then you may have some very specific stuff based on the commercial.
And in my setting the stage of the inspection section, I take care of a lot of that. Like, is it a condo? Is it a townhouse? Is it a houses and developments? Buildings with rentals, commercial properties, habitability and egress issues. So I take care of a lot of that stuff in terms of defining the inspection in this section. Manufactured homes, I should say wannabe house.
Well, you need a pre-1976 one.
I don't. Yeah. So I have a general thing about mold or whatever. Yeah. So that's how I deal with a lot of it. There's certain kinds of things that I used to deal with mold in every single section wherever it showed up, but I got away from that and just do it in this one location. So we hit the Gunnysack for that. It's amounts. How much is there? Yeah, small amounts, some, much. So you can pick that, and then exterior or in the garage or in foundation structures. So I can just deal with it all in this one place rather than all over the place. So, yeah.
What are you guys
When
up
you
there in
guys
the
do-
Seattle area?
Go ahead, Kevin.
You guys up there in the Seattle area, your climate is so dry. I can't imagine you having any mold issues.
Yeah, we see it now and then, but surprisingly not as bad as it down in the south where it's humid and wet.
Mhm.
And we got mold. We got mold under just about every house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
mold growing mold.
yeah. It's I mean, for us, mold is always an indicator thing. If you got mold on your roof sheathing, there's a dang good reason for it. It doesn't just happen because it's having fun, like in Mississippi or, uh, you know. Uh,
I've seen mold in an attic maybe twice in 20 years here in the Carolinas. It's always
Really?
underneath the house or in a bathroom.
I
yeah,
seem to see a correlation between really wet crawl spaces and really moldy attics.
Yep,
mhm.
definitely.
That here you can. That's the first thing an inspector will think about in the Northwest. If you got a really moldy attic, is do I have a flooded crawl space, or did I have a flooded crawl space?
Right.
Yeah,
That's what a lot of I always that's what I usually go to thinking wise is that if I have a big issue in attic, especially where I'm at, because I'm a very dry climate, that typically if I have a moldy attic, I have an issue in the crawl space.
yeah, yep.
Hey, Charlie, can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah, sure, Todd.
Say you guys are going to be doing a duplex or a triplex. Do you just copy and paste or just copy certain sections of the report and use the same template?
Sure. Yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
yeah. If I've got a
Yeah, show them how to do that real quick.
yeah, so let's say
You have like a bathroom section.
sure. Yeah,
That's a good one. Or interiors too, the same thing.
yeah. And generally, yeah, living room, bathroom. If you want another bathroom, you can create. You just go up here and hit copy chapter,
Okay.
and that will add another bathroom down here. It's labels
That's
itself
what-
number 2. You could rename it unit number 1 bathroom.
Okay. Yep.
Are those 3 dots on the mobile too, or only on the desktop?
That I can't tell you.
You can. I think you can do it in on the mobile too.
Yeah, no, yeah, I know you
Thank you,
can.
Don.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you can. I just don't know about the 3 dots or how it works on there. But you can duplicate any aspect. Let's say you come down to the bathroom and you've got we don't have a bidet, do we? So you got a second toilet. Just copy section. And then we end up with another toilet down here, toilet number 1, instead of just toilet. So, and these are totally edible, right? Toilet.
Edible. Yeah.
Let's say.
You can say maroon toilet and white toilet.
Well, how about
Or-
the wife's toilet?
Wife's toilet. There you go.
Yeah, can't type here. Yeah. So yeah, you can totally.
And then also so over on your on the sidebar there, you can grab that now. So take wife's toilet and slide it down below toilet 1 on the
Yeah,
side.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Go
to
down,
do.
go down. Yeah. So you can move those around so you can organize, say, you've copied, then you can go reorganize later, those sections.
Yeah.
So
Eh.
would you guys typically, say you're doing a triplex, and this is how I've done it in the past, I would put like unit 1 and then have kitchen 1, bathroom 1, interior 1, heating system 1. Or
Yeah.
would you
Yep.
guys- Is that kind of how you guys lay it out?
Yeah, you can do it that way. I mean, it gets more complicated the more complicated you make it, obviously. I mean, you can change this chapter heading to unit 1, for example, or you're going to add a blank chapter. blank, and this is now unit 1. Oops, that's not where I wanted up here. So,
it's an excited unit.
yeah, exactly. So we got unit 1 in here. Now you can copy all of these things and just create another unit 1. I can show you here. Let's create a different one here. Copy chapter, and you could copy these and make this unit 2.
Okay.
So now you copy entryways, and then you drag one of them
Up
Right.
there.
up
Oh,
there.
okay. That's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
I usually kind of been keeping them in, but that's a nice way of doing all that.
That way you can have a kitchen for unit 1. You can have a
Yep.
bathroom for unit 1, and
Yep.
it's unbelievably flexible. Obviously, it's going to take you a little bit of time to set up, but think about how useful it is to your client to have everything in one place. So you have to balance those things out. You can just do a whole separate report for each unit. But then you get duplication issues that don't make sense. Like you
Right.
got to do the roof twice. You got to do the,
Yeah, because usually like a duplex, triplex, quadplex, I do exterior, roof, crawl spaces, attics, all in that section. It's going to be generic to the whole building, and then I just copy subsections, bathrooms, stuff, and furnaces and air handlers and all that stuff. Just copy those sections per unit. But I tend to keep those instead of creating a section like you did there, which is not makes me think about doing it that way, where you create a unit 1 and then making a copy and dragging it up into there. So that's a different way of doing it for me. I didn't think about it that way.
yeah, it works. You do 26 unit
Yeah,
apartment
yeah,
building.
well,
Yeah, you got to make a decision. How detailed are you looking for each unit? I have clients that want a lot of detail in an apartment building, for example, and others that all they want is the big stuff. So the big stuff, you can pretty much just use one bathroom section and say, well, there were issues in bathroom 1, but 2, and modify your Gunnysacks to go with that. So.
Thanks, guys.
I see Ben's thinking hard here.
Well, if you guys saw my desktop, you'd laugh at me with the amount of tabs I have open right now.
No, I'm the same way. I push Chrome to its friggin' limit all the time.
I keep around 30 open at all times.
I don't know how many I got. So I got 4 windows with multiple tabs on each one. I'm assuming do you have a multi-screen too going?
Yeah, I've got 3 in front of me.
Yeah, I got 3 too.
Well,
Thinking about a 4th one, honestly.
What I think I'll do is I'll stop the movie aspect of this, and if I can figure out how to do that, stop